You guys know I love case studies, and so today is no different. We're going to get to see a real case study. The main question for this couple is, can they retire right now? Now, this couple I'm going to show you right now. Let's take a look. This is what this couple is working with. Their net worth is north of $7 million, of which 5.5 of that is liquid. So I know what some of you are thinking. Okay, how could this couple possibly not be in a spot to retire? But the reality is there's a lot of people that want to spend a lot of money. And for those people that want to, I'm the first person to be like, awesome, I want you to spend. I just don't want you to run out of money if you retire too early. And I don't want you to be mad at me if you're 85 with 30 million bucks going, hey, I told you that wasn't my goal. Like, why didn't you tell me to retire earlier? So the reason I'm mentioning this is because some of you are going, well, that's not my situation. I have case studies for people that have $500,000, people that have 2 million, 20 million, wide range. So of course you can try to find your case study, but the principles are the same in every single case study. So I encourage you to watch this video because there's a few things I think you'll take away no matter how much money you have. But once again, if you want to go find your specific case study, if you search my name and then put a dollar amount next to it, there's probably going to be one that comes up that's exactly your situation. Maybe not exact, but very close. These case studies, I am picking them at random based off those who email me. We will look at their individual case and determine, is this something that we think is going to be able to help all of you? And is it something you can relate to? So this was an email that was sent to collective@rootfinancial.com, which is where you email if you want to be chosen for a potential case study. And you must be inside of the Early Retirement Academy. And you must email us saying, yes, I'm willing to either be on camera or be blind like this one I'm doing today, where there's no one here with me. Just kidding, come on in. No, there's no one. And so it's literally just me talking to the ether at sometimes is what it feels like. So this is an email, Ari/Lucas. Love the energy and videos. Lucas, by the way, I do my live weekly shows with Lucas, if you're unfamiliar. This person came out of the womb knowing financial planning. Would like to throw my hat into case studies for the live show. My name is blah, 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 and I'm in the academy. Main question, can I retire now comfortably? So that's the case study we're going to use. Please know, guys, everything I'm going to be showing today, it's going to be using probability of success, Monte Carlo simulations. These are important disclosures that this example might not apply to your situation and is not necessarily representative of the experience of other clients. Now we're going to hop in right now, but some of you have something called head trash. It's not a real term. I just made it up. But the idea is that you're worrying about, hey, I'm about to see someone that might actually want to spend more money than I want to spend. And they have like less money in the bank. So does that mean like I'm totally not in a spot to retire? It might not mean that. Maybe that there's inheritance or a pension or rental income or social security, or maybe there's a big age gap, or there's a million different potential things. So don't have head trash of, hey, it looks like this couple wants to spend more than me and I have less money. So like, can I definitely not retire? That's not always what it means. It's not black and white. So what I want you to know is there was a video I put out, and this was, I'm just going to link it right here because I'm thinking my editor's so awesome. They'll just think and be like, yes, I know which one you're talking about. And so this is the one where I said, hey, if you have over $1 million and you're thinking, hey, I'm fed up with work, or can I stop working? This is the video for you because it's going to help you understand really how to plan for that. Now, if you're still with me, and I hope you are, I'm going to show you this case study. Let's hop in. Now, when I do these case studies, I have to pick and choose. I have to go, are we going to stay on the tax tab? Are we going to do a little bit between insurance and healthcare planning and estate planning? And we had a very direct question, which is, am I in a spot to retire comfortably now? And the way that we're going to go about it is we need to know about this couple, but there's a million questions I would love to ask them, obviously. So this is not me going, here's a green light, go do it. It's me saying, hey, I'm going to give you the financial answer, assuming that you have put your information correctly into the academy and you followed my instructions. Let's assume they've done that. Well, now I'm going to show them if they're in a good spot and how to think about it, and then a few things that the software might not be telling them that I would encourage them to think about. So we're not going to go through every single aspect of their plan because that would be 4 hours, even though I would love to do that. The YouTube algorithm would not like me if I did that. So right now, here's the couple. They want to retire at 55 and 52. Steven is working today. So Steven's 53 years old. So he's thinking, can I retire now? But in the software, I'm putting 2 years. They want to spend $10,000 a month. Now that's $10,000 after taxes. So $10,000 after taxes adjusted for inflation. So let's assume all of his money was in a 401k, which it's not, which I'm going to show you in a second. Well, if he wanted $10,000 a month, he might need to actually go sell $12,000 a month so he can pay taxes to end up with $10,000 a month. Common mistake people forget about. And then is that adjusted for inflation? Now, in the software, it automatically is, but this is important for all of you at home to know. From there, healthcare. He's putting an assumption for healthcare in here, $10,000 each until Medicare kicks in. This could be much, much lower. And I'm going to show them something on this because this is a big planning point. The next thing is relocation. Awesome. I'd want to know if this is due to financial purposes or if this is desire, but they're planning a relocation. Their home is currently worth $2 million, and they're saying, what if we relocate? We no longer have a mortgage. We have a great property. Awesome. You can see they put like a placeholder here, big family vacation every 4 years. They just put $1, but as a placeholder. And then travel, winter, 2 to 3 months, annual gifting. I would encourage this person, this couple, to go deeper. Hey, what about planning for long-term care? What about college? What about cars? What about, they did vacations, but beyond that. Weddings, I love that they already put in a relocation, but I would encourage them to go deeper here. But with this being said, looking at their income today, Stephen makes a healthy salary. So $245,000, spouse doesn't work, Social Security, nothing else. If any of you guys are out there going, I've got pension, or I've got a small business, or, child support, alimony, or royalties coming in. You don't see a lot of those anymore. Inheritance or what, yeah, go plan for it. But pretty simple case here. This person wants to know, hey, can I stop working? In terms of savings, you can see he's crushing savings, maxing out a Roth 401k, even though he's in a high tax bracket, doing his backdoor Roth, a backdoor Roth for their spouse, HSA account, ESP, P is what this is called. Who sees a big issue here? Okay, you're allowed to comment below. What is one thing you do not see here that you know I would love to see here? Okay, I'm going to give you 2 seconds. Okay, superhero account. Here's someone that is doing a lot of great savings on paper, but the phrase I'll use is called qualified rich. Now, I don't know that for a fact, but I'm going to show you what I mean in a second. So my parents are house rich, cash poor. They have a wonderful, beautiful home in Malibu. They never want to sell it. It doesn't provide any cash flow. So it's awesome. They have a great net worth, but it doesn't actually provide income. So they're still working in their 70s, not just because of that. They were burned by a few advisors, which is why I became an advisor. Full story on that, I'll tell you later, even though I actually already have it. So I will link to it here. For this episode specifically, the superhero account, that's what we call a brokerage account. So you can see when I said house rich, cash poor, there's another term I talk about. I call it qualified rich, cash poor. So if this person's doing all these awesome savings, but he wants to retire now at 53, well, he can't use the Roth 401k money. He can't use the backdoor Roth IRA money. He can't use a lot of these funds. So yeah, awesome. Your retirement looks great, meaning from 60 on, but what do we do the first 5 to 10 years? And are you in a comfortable spot to live? So the point here is we want to go to his net worth and see, okay, does this person already have any brokerage investments? Because if he does, that changes things. And he does. And so kudos to this person. This person has $2 million in this brokerage account, which I call a superhero. Why do I call it that? It's the best account there is because it allows for flexibility. The biggest thing that just crushes me is when people reach out and they've got 2.3 in a 401k and they want to retire, but the reality is they're 52 years old. And so they'd have to pay a huge penalty if they wanted to, in addition to taxes. And I'll see it where it's not 2.3, but it's $4 or $5 million and they don't have any other dollars. And they're like, what did I do wrong? Like I just saved to my 401k and now I can't retire early because my funds are locked up. Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. So the good news here, like this person's crushed it and they deserve a pat because $2 million in a brokerage account, that is not easy, especially on the salary we saw. Now, maybe there was inheritance or other things, but if not, kudos to them because they were likely very frugal, good savers. $2 million in a brokerage account, 2.3 in pre-tax 401ks, 234,000 in Roth 401ks. Yeah, they're going to need to do some Roth conversions, of course. Roth IRAs, HSAs, some pension plans. They're in a good spot. Now, my gut check already before going to their plan is they're in a wonderful spot. I have no idea why they're working unless they love their job. That is my gut, but I'm going to kind of go deeper here and I'm going to show you why. So if I go to this retirement plan section, I can go from there, allow my screen to load and click comparisons and I can see their plan. Now, right off the bat, it's like, I was right. Look at their plan. They have $5 million. Looks like they're on track for $22 million if they live till 100. So first things first, like What's their goal? Is it to die with $20 million? Some people are like, yeah, that's my goal. But most people are not. Most people are like, if I leave my home to my children, or if there's anything left over, then good for them. I'm living my retirement. And so you can see here, we can go in just based off of what they've put in here and say, Steven, you're going to stop working at 53 today, not 55. Okay, well, they're going to see like, are they in a good spot? They're going to be in a fine spot. So you can literally just click refresh and see here, yeah, there's a big difference. If this person works 2 more years, it's not just their 250,000 salary or something in that range, 235 maybe. That's not the big value. It's you're not pulling from your portfolio, which lets that continue to keep growing. So when people go, why do you get so emotional about this? I go, well, it's a tough thing. Saving 1 more year and working 1 more year helps the plan a lot. But then you become subject to goalpost planning. Once again, not a real thing. I made it up. Where you go, I'm going to retire next year, 6 more months, 1 more bonus. Put it in the comments if you've ever done that or if you've heard a friend or spouse do that. So now they're more than okay. They're still 17 million at the end, but 5 million fewer dollars. Now, here's the big thing. 10,000 a month. I have no idea if that's them living their dream life or if that's them going like, no, this is good. You know, we can get by, but we're not really doing what we want to do. Because if we were to go ramp this up to 15,000, which is a big deal, that's 180,000 a year versus 120,000 a year. Yeah, it's going to have a significant impact. It certainly will. But once again, let's go back to what's their goal. You can see here, there's still $4 million in the end, and they're spending an extra 60,000 a year every single year for the rest of their life, maybe 50 more years. So this person's in a really good spot. But you know what the risk is? The risk is they don't invest well, which I'm not saying they're not going to invest well. But what if they have more of a balanced allocation? So what that would mean is something like, let's say 5% in just things growing with maybe 3% inflation. Well, you can see all of a sudden real quick, and this is to show people, this is real life here, they'd be okay, but they'd run out of money at age 87. Now that's assuming they stop working immediately and want to spend 15,000, not 10 a month. So if they're like, no, 15,000 a month, Ari, that's just because you're weird and you want to spend that. 10,000 a month, that was us dreaming about our life. Well, then I go, awesome. Even if your investments don't do well because you're getting a 2% real return, 5% actual return on paper, 3% inflation. So what's your adjusted return after inflation? Look, there's still $6 million and they have a brokerage account. It's not like all their money's tied up. So like, I have no idea truly why this couple is working unless they love their job and they refuse to. But if they were to relocate, of course, this changes things. What if they delay the relocation and they go, we're going to wait and we're going to do it in 2035, not in 3 years? Well, the reason I'm showing you guys this is the years that you do things matter. It matters in a big way because when you wait and you see this plan refresh, what you're going to see here, there was about a few $100,000 more dollars from them delaying. And the reason for that is if they go relocate and let's assume they sell their home, obviously, to do so. Okay, well, that's more money that could go towards investing or it could go to this new property. So what would I encourage this couple to think about? Well, what they're thinking about is buying a new home in New Hampshire for $1.5 million. I'd encourage them to dream bigger than that. Now, I have no idea if this is a goal of theirs, but they put in here, primary home relocation, $1.5 million. Let's ramp that up, $2.5 million. Why do that? Well, what's their goal? Now, yeah, I would need to update property tax assumptions and insurance and a lot of different things. But if they want to go project out their plan and see, would I even be on track for that? Well, this is what this software is so valuable for, is to be able to go in there and go, okay, so if they wanted to retire at 53 and investments didn't do well, and they wanted to relocate and get a property that's $2.5 million, not $1.5 million, they'd, run out of money. You can see it would be right here at about age 97 where they'd have basically no more money. But what if they invested well? What if they're like, no, I'm like, if I got 7-8%, I'm more of a growth investor and I stopped working, could I still get this $2.5 million home? Because now that you put that idea into my head, that's what I'm really thinking. Well, yeah, like that's certainly an option. Like if your investments are doing well, they would have $6 million left over. And let's be clear, what I just showed them, they just retired immediately. They bought a home for $2.5 million, not $1.5 million. And their investments on a growth portfolio, This is like very realistic. So this is me to say they're in a really good spot. Now, are there 2 million things that I'd want to ask them? Of course. Social Security, like when you collect, it makes a big deal. If you collect as early as possible, okay, well, yeah, the software is going to show there's way more. What about full retirement age? What about age 70? These are all based on a lot. What if we plan on no Social Security? And that's the next kind of stress test that I would want to do with them. Not to make it so that someone goes, oh my gosh, you're right. It feels so weird. What am I going to do if I retire early? Because my friends haven't retired. Who am I going to hang out with? Yeah, there's a part of that, but I'm thinking just financial here. What if they get unlucky and Steven retires today and markets drop 30%? Social Security's there, but just not to the extent it is today. Inflation goes up. They live till they're 110. Healthcare goes up. Taxes go up. They should want to know that if we're the most unlucky people ever, we're still not going to run out of money. And the way that you do that is you stress test and you connect that to the tax strategy. One of the things I mentioned early on is healthcare. Well, with healthcare planning, if you're optimal with that, you can see I have a lot of different videos on it here. Healthcare, I mean, this couple, they put $10,000 a year each in for healthcare. Now, the reality is that I have clients that pay that, and I have clients that would pay way less than that. And so for them, from like a tax strategy perspective, I would encourage them to really understand, how do we look at tax strategy? Because there are things like Roth conversions, there are things like tax gain harvesting, there are all these different strategies, and you move a few different levers here. And this, I'm not going to go into a ton of detail on today, but you move a few different levers and you're going to see your plan, all of a sudden there could be way less money if you're not executing good tax strategy. And then other times there could be way more tax strategy, way more money to be added if we're looking at capital gains brackets versus Medicare premiums versus you name it. And so the point here is this is a really powerful tool. It's a powerful software. When we're looking at different tax strategies, what we're trying to do is optimize within different brackets. So you can see I just clicked a few buttons just kind of at random to show you. Well, now it shows they have $225,000 more dollars through good tax strategy. This tax strategy, this is the number one reason. This is the biggest thing that changes someone's plan as to whether they are optimizing or not. This is the biggest reason I think people should, if they do retire early, have someone that specializes in the tax piece, not necessarily the rebalancing and things. Yeah, that's helpful, but it's the tax aspect. And so the final thing that I want to show here is for this couple, it might not be a concern at all. I have absolutely no idea. But I have a client that retired early and they were like, look, I don't know what the heck I'm going to do. And they were very transparent. So this is what's called the Root Collective. This is our community and this is free. Anyone can join this and you can get ideas from other people. And so some people are talking about why they chose a certain career, or I want help with an inherited IRA or whatever it is. I posted this, and this is a real story of a client that I have that wanted to retire early. They had some interesting thoughts and he felt weird. He's like, I'm so much younger than my peers. Like, what? And so I asked the community, what are some of your favorite things you've done since retiring early? How do you deal with retirement, knowing everyone around you is still working? And so a lot of people talk about certain volunteering, moving to certain places, what they wish they would have done. I've done 7 cruises, 3 more coming up. Other people are connecting. Hey, I want to go to Antarctica or Morocco or whatever. So some of this is financial, certainly. That's what I love talking about. But a big part of this is, okay, how do they want to spend their time? What are their legacy goals? Do they want a new job in retirement managing this? Maybe they have an advisor. How are we invested? There's so much that I don't know. I go in the brokerage account here. You can see, I don't see how it's invested. It's just a custom allocation. I can see that there's a cost basis, meaning $1 million is their cost basis and it's worth $2 million. So there's some big gains in there. I would certainly encourage this person to consider something like a separately managed account, something like this, which is really impactful for people that have a superhero account. It doesn't apply to a lot of people, meaning in the world, but a lot of people that have significant gains in a brokerage account, it's powerful. It's like a personalized mutual fund or ETF. And so if you own individual securities, you have at least 500,000 in gains. You want to diversify because you have these big gains, but you want to reinvest without selling all the holdings. I have different videos on that. There are a lot of different techniques that apply. Sometimes though, it's just, hey, let's keep it simple. Like make sure you have income the rest of your life. The biggest thing so that you can have income the rest of your life, which is obviously the goal, is look, this brokerage account, this is the most important account this person has, whether they know it or not. And if they get unlucky and markets don't do well and this account goes down, that's going to really change their retirement. So this should be way safer than these other accounts, that 401k, Roth, HSA. We're not touching these for a while. I have no idea if that's the case in their plan. And so what I would encourage them to do is think deeper and kind of go into dreaming big goals. And they might, I'm going to put this back for them because they told me they wanted a $1.5 million, not $2.5 million home, but I'm going to go put that and revert it back. But going in there and dreaming bigger so that if they do retire today, which I think they're in a spot where that legitimately could occur, they're going, hey, I didn't miss something. There wasn't something I overlooked, and I can see I'm in a good spot. So those are some thoughts on this case study. I hope this was helpful. If so, and if this was you, drop a comment below. And if you're like, wow, this is really awesome, I want this software, you can go use this software. Now, you don't get like one-on-one guidance, but you do get me as your guide throughout it. So this is the software that I just showed you. You can use it at the same time. This for a few $100, it's just a one-time cost. You go get the software and go play around. Run your own scenarios. Of course, I have videos and I do live shows weekly so that you can kind of learn best practices to use this. And that's the case study I wanted to show today. See you guys next time.